Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel English Literature. Today we are going to talk about Browning's poem The Last Duchess. Now, The Last Duchess is an example of excellent dramatic monologue by Browning. And what do we mean by dramatic monologue? Okay, I am going to share you a definition from Bedford Glossary of Critical and Literary Terms. I am writing the name here. You can check it out there. Bedford Glossary of Literary Terms. I find here the definitions are really in easy language and they are all compassing. It is written by Ross Morfin and Supriyo M. Ray. Okay. So if anyone have this book, you can check it. Now, what does it say? Dramatic monologue is a lyric poem in which the speaker addresses a silent listener, revealing himself or herself in the context of a dramatic situation. The speaker provides information not only about his or her personality, but also about the time, the setting, key events, and any other characters involved in the situation at hand. Okay, so from this definition you can understand the salient features of a dramatic monologue. And in our next video we will discuss Browning's The Last Duchess in the context of this definition, and we will discuss these features, how these features covers this poem. Okay, or how this poem covers these features. Okay, and that will be our next target. Now we will talk about the poem. My Last Duchess appeared first in his collection of shorter poems, that is Dramatic Lyrics, 1842. So it was first appeared in this collection, that is Dramatic Lyric, 1842. Okay. Now, the poem was first printed with another poem. The poem was not single or alone, it was printed with another poem, the name of which is Count Gismond. Count Gismond is the another poem with which the poem was printed together, and both are published under the heading Italy and France. So both these poems were published under this title, that is Italy and France. Okay. Now, what is dramatic monologue? We already discussed, and now we'll talk about the historical background of the poem. The poem is describing the Duke, and he has a historical background. Who is this Duke? This Duke is actually Alfonso II, the last Duke of Ferrara. He is the last Duke of Ferrara. So the poem is based on the character, that is the Duke, and he is from a historical background. He is the last Duke of Ferrara, that is Alfonso II. Now, he was married to Lucrezia de Medici. Who is the Duchess? Duchess is Lucrezia or Lucrezia de Medici. But the marriage lasted only for 3 years. The Duke then negotiated to marry another important persons, that is Count of Tyrole's niece. The new Duke planned to marry next the niece of the Count of Tyrol. So the Duke's marriage with Lucrezia only lasted for 3 years, and she died mysteriously. And then he planned to marry Count of Tyrole's niece, whose name we don't know, and in this context the poem actually opens. The poem starts with a casual conversation. Count of Tyrole's ambassador has come to visit the Duke, and the Duke is talking with him about the marriage prospect, and he is introducing him. Okay. Sorry, I feel there is some problem. Okay. That's my last Duchess, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. So Duke is introducing his last Duchess, who is not alive, who is dead. She's painted on the wall. There is a portrait only. But it seems that she is alive. What does it connote? This connotes the very pictorial quality of the image. Its vividness. Pictorial quality. The vividness of the image. The image is so beautiful. The image is drawn so beautifully that it seems that he is just alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now sharp unloved hands work busily a day, and there she stands. So we don't know that what was the relationship between the Duke and the Duchess when they were married. But I feel that the Duke is very happy with that picture. He is just praising the picture. That Fra Panlop is an imaginary painter who has worked on this painting, and one day, just one day, he portrayed this beautiful picture. And Fra Panlop's hand worked busily, very actively, just for one day. And here it is. So the poem opens very dramatically, just introducing the silent listener who is present here. That you see, we can visualize that someone is sitting there in the chair, and the Duke is drawing the curtain from his wife's portrait and addressing the person. See, this is my last Duchess. You can find, and one day Fra Panlop, the painter, draws it. Just one day, it takes time, and so beautifully it is drawn that it just took, it took just one day. So he is praising the picture. Now, this just openings sets the scene for the poem. Now, all readers are very eager to know about the Duchess. Duke draws by the curtain of the portrait of his last Duchess and invites the convoy, invites the ambassador, also invites us, the readers, to inform about the Duchess, who is she. The picture is so animated, it looks as if she is alive. Will please you sit and look at her? So the very phrase here, the you here that is mentioned here, it just declares the existence. The word you declares the existence of the silent listener. Informs that there is two people. One is the speaker and the other is the listener. The reader became very aware about the addressing. Now, he is saying him to sit there. And he said, I said Fra Panlop by design. I am saying that Fra Panlop, it is by design. By design means on purpose I declare his name. And it also hints that the Duke is engaged a very important, very famous artist to draw his Duchess portrait. For never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance. So even in the portrait there is some passion, there is some earnest glance that strangers like you, even strangers like you can understand from that picture. Okay. But to myself they turn, since none puts but the curtain I have drawn for you. So he is saying that it is only I who have the power or who have the authority to draw the curtain for you. And seemed as they would ask me if they durst. So what is meant by the word durst? If they durst. If they dared to ask me, who are they? They means all the visitors. They refers to all the visitors who come and visit him and see the pictures, all the visitors who observe or watch the portrait of the Duchess, if they durst, if they dare to ask, no, not everyone. It is not for everyone. Everyone cannot ask the question, but there are some people who dare to ask the question that from how this beauty, this gland, this passion comes into this portrait. What caused, what provoked this type of glance, this type of passion in this portrait? So if some people who visit this and dare to ask me this, then I can answer what is the answer. So not the first are you to turn and ask me thus. So it is not you. You are not the person who is the first to turn and ask me thus. So the Duke is also talking about the ambassador, the envoy, on the part of the envoy also, that we can understand from this line that you to turn and ask thus. From this line it is obvious that the convoy has asked him the same question that some other people dare to ask. So it was not her husband's presence only, called that spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek. So the Duke is saying that you don't think that it is the presence of me only. This is the point of grievance on the part of the Duke. The Duke is saying that it is not the presence of me only. The Duchess is prone to smile with such passion at anyone else. There is not a particular that she only smiles at me. So that is the cause of his grievance, that spot of joy. That spot of joy means that blush in the skin. It is not in his presence only. So the Duke's implication is that the Duchess should be happy only in his presence, and the blush that is caused not by Duke's presence is not something, it is flirtatious, you can say. The Duke is saying by this that the Duchess is very flirtatious. She can be easily impressed by anyone else. She can blush for anyone else, and that he cannot tolerate. So maybe there is some flattery on the part of the painter. Maybe the painter has said something and that causes the blush on his cheek. Perhaps Frappan loved chance to say, her mantle laughs over my lady's dress too much. So it may be that for some reason, some words by the painter caused or provoked such blushes in her skin. Maybe Frappan says that her mantle laughs over my lady's dress too much. Or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that does along her throat. So these types of compliments or these types of words may have caused that blush. So she is very susceptible to flattery. She is very susceptible. She can be made very easily. She can be made glad. And this he listed as her negative qualities. That she is such just so easily she can be made happy. She smile at everything, everyone. She is so flirtatious. She is such and such. And he does not want that the Duchess should smile at anyone's presence except himself. Okay. So we'll discuss it later that in whose respect, what are the features that the last Duchess covers as a perfect example of dramatic monologue. And there we'll find that irony is the most inherent and powerful thread of this poem, and of course the powerful feature of a dramatic monologue. Here the Duchess is the Duke is introducing the Duchess to us, and he is telling everything negative in respect of her character. But what are we thinking with the readers? When he is presenting her in such a way that she smiles at everything, she smiles at every trifle, not only in his presence but even at everyone's presence. So what we are thinking about him? Okay, we can proceed and think about more. Such stuff was courtesy. Of course, such stuff was courtesy. She thought and cause enough for calling off that spot of joy. So again and again this word spot of joy. Spot of joy is repeated. You can find this in the previous lines. That spot of joy means this blush. Again it is repeated. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. She had a heart, how shall I say, too soon made glad, too easily impressed. So that is her fault according to the Duke, that she can be impressed so easily. Why should she? Why should she be impressed so easily? She should not be impressed so easily. She is a Duchess. She is the Duke's wife. How can she be impressed so easily? She should be always grumpy-faced, always vain, aristocrat, ostentatious, superfluous. That type of person she must have been. But she was not such stuff. And that was the grievance of the Duke. Okay. She liked whatever she looked on. Oh my God, what type of Duchess she is. She liked whatever she looked on. Everything she looked on, she just liked. And her looks went everywhere. A Duchess would not look at everything. Sir, it was all one, my favor at her breast. It was all one, means it was the same thing. It was all one means it was the same thing. She cannot differentiate. She cannot differentiate between things. She cannot differentiate between her husband's favor at his breast, the dropping of the daylight in the west. So everything seems similar to her. The dropping of the daylight in the west, that is the sunset, the bough of cherries, some officious fool. The word officious fool just represent the jealousy on the part of the Duke. So I just tell you that the irony is that what Duke is trying to present or what Duke is trying to prove, in reality he is present just the opposite. In reality he is trying to defame the Duchess's character, but ultimately we will find that his own character is defamed here, is tainted here. Some officious fool, his arrogance, his jealousy and his narrow-mindedness is exposed here. That the Duchess can be impressed easily. She just smile at everything. The setting sun, some fool, not some person who just brings some cherries for her. So she can be impressed by everything. Broke in the orchard for her, the white mule she rode round the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech or blush at least. Okay. So the Duke is trying to put himself as he is very aristocratic person, and the Duchess does not meet his choice. But we can feel, yes, the Duchess cannot meet his choice because the Duchess is very amiable, very simple-hearted, very innocent. He can smile at the setting sun, he can smile at the white mule. She just, for her, there is no vanity. She does not feel there is any difference between that affluency. That affluency, that vainglory cannot touch her. Okay. She thanked men. Good. Okay, it is good that she thanked men. But thanked somehow. I know not how. I cannot tell you that how. But she thanks people in a way that I did not like. As if she ranked my gift of 900 years old name with anybody's gift. How dare she? How dare she that she just ranked, she just keep the same quality, same positions or same emotion to his 900 years old name. That is the vanity on the part of the Duke. That is the vanity on the part of the Duke. So, how audacious she is that she can rank the 900 years old name of the Duke with anybody's game. The cherry, the sunset, the white mule, and the 900 years old name, anticlimax. Who stooped to blame this sort of trifling? And now the cruel Duke, the final bill for the Duchess. And the Duke is here ready to punish her for the behavior. I'm not going to stoop. I'm not going to stoop. And this sort of trifling, even had you skill in speech, which I have not. Again, there is an example of irony. You have skill in speech. He is saying, he is addressing the envoy, that you may have skill in speech, which I have not, but no. We are already familiar with the speech of the Duke. We are already familiar with the power of Duke's words, with the prickness of the Duke's word, with the venom of Duke's word. So though the Duke is trying to put himself as a very plain spoken man, that I cannot, no skill in my speech, the reader can understand that how well skilled he is. To make your will quite clear to such as one and say just this or that in you disgusts me, here you miss or there exit the mark. So what is he want to say here? Again, another negative quality of the Duke is exposed here. If we do not like something in our friends or relatives or dear ones, we can say, I don't like it. Please don't do this. But the Duke is so arrogant and so vain that he thinks, even if he tells the Duchess that I don't like it, you are exceeding, or you are smiling at everything, or this type of nature, I don't like it. But that even seemed to be stooping on the part of the Duke. Okay, you understand? Even the Duke did not want to warn the Duchess. He feels that if he warns the Duchess, that would be also some kind of stooping on the part of him. Okay. So what did he do? And if she let herself be listened so, and if she listened, if she heard, not plainly said, her wish to yours, forsooth, or made excuse, she may be disagree, she may have just argued, whatever. If she did not agree with him, then it will be disastrous. The Duke is saying that if she did not agree with his opinion, if she argued, or if she disobeyed, or anything may happen. So Duke is thinking about those possibilities, and he thinks that if any of those possibilities occurs, then it will be tremendous shame on his part. So he must not stoop to warn her. Even then would be some stooping. Even then there will be some kind of stooping. The Duke is so arrogantly vain, he thinks even if he explained to her the reasons for his disgust, it might be some kind of stooping. To explain his feeling to her own have constituted a compromise. So he does not want to go to any compromise. If she listen, if she agree to his opinion, then there will be some kind of stooping, because that will be compromise on her part. Okay. Oh sir, she smiled, no doubt, whenever I passed her. So again, he is again and again making us aware about the person who is sitting there. Okay. Again and again he is making us aware about the person, that convoy, that he is sitting here, and he is saying, oh sir, she smiled, no doubt. Of course she smiled. Don't think that she never smiled. She hated me. No, that is not the point. The Duchess did not hate the Duke. She smiled at me. But the problem is that whenever I passed her, but who passed without much the same smile? But the problem is that whoever passed by her, she smiles the same smile. So that is the case. This grew. What grew? This smiling and this amiable nature of the Duchess growing day by day, and the Duke feel irritated. This grew. This tension between the Duke and the Duchess, this breach of thought grew. So what grew? That tension of the atmosphere, the ambience, the tensed ambience, the breach between their thought grew. And I gave commands, then all smiles stopped together. So, though you can explain it some another way, it is very clearly, it is not insinuating, I think, it is clearly declared here that if you give some kind of command that all smiles stop together, means it is just murder. The Duke ordered to murder the Duchess. Duke ordered to murder the Duchess. So it is very, very prominent, very, very clear in this line that the Duke ordered someone to kill the Duchess. Okay. Because as it gradually increased and he cannot stoop, he cannot warn, and she does not understand, so it is better to stop her smile at least. At least the Duke can be at peace that she cannot smile. So the Duke has conquered her wayward nature by reducing her to a work of art. So finally the Duke can conquer her, can stop her, can strangulate her smile by putting her in the picture and killing her. So that was the final judgment of the Duchess. So the Duchess should have reserved her smile, her passion, her emotion, everything for the Duke only. She should not smile at anybody else. She should be always grumpy faced. Only in the presence of Duke she must have smiled. But she cannot do it. There she stands as if alive. Okay, we get the same line, as if alive again. In the first we find that the picture is just like he is alive. There she stands as if alive. Will please rise. Please you rise. Now from there is another theme start. Now he is saying the introduction is complete. His introduction to his last Duchess is complete. Now he is saying that will you please rise. Now the envoy is totally transfixed in his seat. He might have been thinking, oh my God, what type of Duke is it? And again, you can say that this total conversation that goes on, I am profusely sweating. And this total conversation, what is going on, may be some kind of warning on the part of Duke. The envoy has come to negotiate another marriage proposal, and the Duke is just giving the insinuation that this is my last Duchess. She used to smile at everything, and what I have done to her. So be aware of my next victim can be your relative or for whom you are here to speak. So be aware of the fact that this is my nature, and for whom you have come to negotiate, she must learn these things before being my wife. So she must not laugh so much. She must reserve and preserve or encapsulated her smile within herself except in the presence of the Duke. Okay, so this whole poem can be treated as a warning till the end, when the Duke is telling him, okay, now go move on, now just stand up from your sitting position, and now we can talk about it. So this whole thing can be a warning that this I have done to my last Duchess, so be aware of the fact and tell your master that his niece must be behaved properly, otherwise there will be another portrait beside my last Duchess. Okay. Now we will meet the company below then. Okay, so just rise and we will go. We are going to downstairs to meet the company. I repeat, the count your master's known uniforms. So generosity, munificence means generosity. I know that your count is very generous, is ample warrant that no just pretense of mine for dowry. So don't think that I am thinking about dowry will be disallowed. There is no need for any dowry. Though his fair daughter self as I avowed. I only want that his daughter, fair daughter's wife, is the only thing that I am interested in, not in any dowry. But you know, even that is the note of irony. What he is saying is he is delivering the just opposite message to his readers. We are well aware that he is thinking about the dowry only. He is thinking he is very greedy person. He is thinking about dowry. He is saying that I know the generosity of your master, and I know that though I only want his fair daughter, but I know that he will give me profusely. So that is the thing. Okay. Nay, we will go. Okay, now we will go together down, sir. We will go together down. And before going down, he again just draw attention to a picture. That is the image of sea god Neptune taming a seahorse. Now, taming a seahorse, though a rarity, it is a very rarity. Again and again, his very vain nature is publishing. It is a very rarity. It is a very rare picture. Which Clause of Innsbruck? Clause of Innsbruck is again an imaginative character, imaginative architect, cast in bronze for me. He cast this bronze statue for me, and here it is a there is a symbol that the sea god, who is Neptune, his Neptune is actually the Duke. Neptune is the Duke, and that is the seahorse. Seahorse represent the Duchess. Okay. So Neptune is taming the seahorse. That actually stands for the sadist nature of the Duke. The power hunger and sadist nature of the Duke. Now the seahorse is very delicate, fantastic creature and feminine creature it is called, and Neptune is very muscular figure. You can see from this image. So Neptune, and you know that you have seen that figure of seahorse. You can search it in Google. Google knows everything, and you can search it there, and you will find that seahorse is very delicate figure, and Neptune is very powerful figure. And seahorse is tamed by Neptune, clarifies or indicates or insinuates the sadist and power hunger on the part of the Duke. Okay, it is acting as a symbol. Now we just finished. So after showing this picture, the Duke actually indicating that his power, that I am such powerful. So whoever you are here to talk about, you must be well aware about this quality. Now the character of Duke. I gave commands, then all smiles stopped together. So the character of Duke, you will find this type of character everywhere. There are some people in our society who thinks that we are something very big, something just who live in the upper rung of the society. We think that we should not talk, we should not smile, we should not say thank you to the common people like who are the rickshaw puller or the fishmonger or any seller or vendor. We should not speak very amiably or affectionately or smilingly to them. We just, with disdainfully, we should talk with them. So our arrogance, they are not someone, so we should not talk with them. These types of feeling is common. So Duke is not a singular character in our society. I myself, and I know everyone of us is well aware about such characters who, there are such characters in our society who feels that we are very something and we should not talk about with those people. We should not smile. We always make a grumpy face and just poses that we are very serious type of people. We should not talk about these people. We should not talk with these people. We should not smile. We should not say thank you. We just address them in a very low way, in just making them feel that you are a low creature. So this Duke is not Browning's Duke in Victorian period, but this Duke is our Duke we can find them in marketplace. I am telling personally from my experience. I find that there are some people who address the old rickshaw puller or fishmonger or vegetable seller very disdainfully, or just like they are servant. He is the master. They think themselves like some king of Babylon. There are some people who think themselves as kings of Babylon and address them like they are very insignificant things. So the character of Duke is just like he is self-satisfied, and most of all he is a psycho. The most powerful point is that he is a psycho. He is a vain person, he is a psycho, he has no compassion for anyone, he is ostentatious. You can say anything about him. On the other hand, the Duchess, I have just made a list. I was searching for the list that I can. Whatever adjective I find about the Duke. The Duke is arrogant, psychopath, vain, cruel. He is only concerned for the 900 years of his old name. He will drink it and eat it with spoon. He is supercilious. On the other hand, the Duchess is very susceptible to smile, to be glad, innocent, admirable, simple. He cannot discriminate between these things and these things. And he is not care for aristocracy, such aristocratic term. He is spontaneous. There is no superciliousness in her character. So, though in this poem the Duke is the sole source of information for us, but Duke not only present his character but also present the character of the Duchess, and in a way that the whole poem is a great example of irony. Okay. So, though the Duke wants to present the Duchess as a very bad character, immodest, flirtatious, and such type of character, actually find the Duchess is very amiable, and she is very beautiful, and she is very kind-hearted. She knows how to thank people. She is full of gratitude. So all our love and respect goes to last Duchess. Okay, thank you for staying with me, and we'll meet again in our next video, and there we will discuss about the salient features of a dramatic monologue and how my last Duchess comprises or covers all those features. Okay, just give me your comments if you feel that I should have mentioned these points, and thank you for staying with me, and you must also thank me for staying with you with this type of sweating in this hot humid air. Okay, bye for now. Have a great day.